everyone, and welcome back to another video with me, Shruti. You're watching Living Our Ascension. So today's video is not an Ascension update, but I got some comments on my Facebook page just a few days ago, and this video is inspired from the conversation that started because of that. And basically what happened was that it was, like I said, it was the Shehra, which is this Hindu festival, just a few days ago, and someone commented Happy Dashera, and I didn't realize that it is Dashera. And then basically they said that you're a Brahmin and you can't forget Hindu religion and traditions, to which I replied to them and I said that I'm not a Hindu. Like, I've never even before I began my spiritual journey, the way that I live it now consciously, I never considered myself a Hindu, and I don't believe in religion. Like, I think that it's it's not for me. I think that it's the way that a lot of religion is practiced now has to do with controlling the masses. And to which they replied saying, Hindu religion is not a religion in the sense associated with religion. It's a way of life evolved through ages of experimentations by our sages about our culture, traditions and thinking patterns. And so I have some thoughts regarding all of this, my thoughts on spirituality versus religion, and why I have the name that I do, because this person also then asked me, then why do you keep this name, because Shruti Vashist, it's a Hindu name. And so if you want to hear my thoughts on all of this, then please stay tuned and keep watching this video. And I also want to say before I begin that there's a sale going on right now on my website, my personal services. So if you want to work one-on-one with me and accelerate your spiritual journey, then please have a look at that. It's on a 50% off at the moment, which is this I never do this such a big discount. It's only like something like once a year or something. So check them out. You can find them in the higher guidance section of the website, which is www.livingourascension.com. You'll find the link below this video. And so now I want to move on to the subject of this video. So when this person said to me, that you're a Hindu and you can't forget your Hindu religion and traditions, this is not something that resonates with me, because I feel that everybody has their own free will. And there was actually another person then, because more people joined this conversation, and there was another person who said that, sorry, but we should be Hindu first. We are the creation of Brahma, of God Brahma, and we should feel proud to be Brahmin. And all of this, my reply to all of this was that I don't have all of these identifications for myself, that I'm a Hindu or a Christian or something else. I just know myself as the spark of life, the I am. And even the name I am is just, it's just a name. Like, it's the I am presence is something that is within all of us. It's the God self that we all have. So there's a few things that I'd like to say, and the first one is that I wanted to speak about the shift of the ages. So when it comes to astrology, astrologically speaking, we were in the age of Pisces, and the age of Pisces, like the sign of Pisces, is all about believing in something higher than yourself. And that's why all of these religions, they thrived in that age, and they were needed, because it has to do with our position in with relative to the galactic center. So for just like the planets, they go around the sun, that is one unit. There's a sun behind the sun, and then there's another sun behind that sun. That's how the universe goes, whether science has proven it or not proven it, but this is what we know. This is what astrology and the what is known in the ancient spiritual occult wisdom. And so the ages are formed from that, and the position of our universe, of our solar system, was away from the galactic center, and it was darker. And then as it moves towards the galactic center, because that's the space which has the most light, it's the closest to source. And so as it moves closer and closer, just like a planet, when it moves closer and closer to the sun, there is more light, and that's why this new age that we're coming into, there is more light, there's more expansion. So the age before this was the age of Pisces, and perhaps the consciousness of the humans was all about, we've seen all of this suffering, and we've seen wars and just all of these survival issues, and we need to believe that there's something greater than just us, that we are not just left here alone on this planet with no clue what to do. And that was the collective feeling that everybody felt. You don't even need to directly ask for it, but it's just the general consciousness, it's what they're feeling. And so there was this asking for something, for like this order, that it's not just utter chaos. And that's when religions also thrived, but the thing about it is that now we are moving into the age of Aquarius, and it's almost like, because every age has an orb, every gateway has an orb. It's not just on that exact date when we make that shift. So we are already feeling it, and we're already kind of in it, especially those of us who are bringing in this new age, like through the work that we do. We're already living it, we're already in the age of Aquarius in that sense. And also I want to say that this is why the sign of Aquarius is very expansive. It's very based on breaking the boundaries, breaking something that no longer serves us. And that's why you'll see the new leaders, the new spiritual gurus, they're not all about just going away from society and living somewhere else. I've said this so many times in previous videos, but Aquarius is all about the masses, and the common man and the good of the common man. So the sign of Aquarius is about serving the common man. It's all about community that are based on equality, where you are you fit in with society, and everybody is an equal. There's no king and queen ruling over somebody else. It's everybody is an equal. So the societies that will be coming up in future decades, or I don't know, decades or centuries, we are moving towards that. You see, it's about progress towards that direction, and so our values and everything are aligned with that. And also, so religions did serve their purpose, perhaps at a time, but because everything on planet Earth is not pure, and we were perhaps more in the age of darkness, a lot of things were changed, like even the scriptures, they were written not only by sages, but when they were passed down, they were written by humans. And when humans write, even when you're translating something, it's coming almost through your own perspective, unless you have this really pure perspective, you have done that self-mastery within yourself. So you have to understand that, and moreover, even if you read something that's pure, the way that you apply it in your life, like if you read a spiritual law or a spiritual book with all of these universal laws, you can only apply it to the level that you have done your own self-mastery. The way, how much your own consciousness has evolved, you're only going to understand it at that level and nothing more. And so it's wise to not go and tell other people what to do, what they should believe in. And just use a general law, like a universal law or something that you've read about religion, and just keep saying it. It doesn't mean anything. What we need to do is the inner work. And even in all of these religions, there were some people who stood out, who did their inner work. They were the famous saints and the prophets, etc. I'm not saying that it's just all bad or something. There's lots of traditions, and I made this comment that there's lots of traditions and rituals that I do like from all the different religions, but it doesn't mean that that's what I resonate with, that I'm going to consider myself religious just because of that. I don't need that. I don't need an identification of something, of me being a Hindu or a Christian or anything else. All I know is I only know myself as the spark of life, and that's it. There's no other identification that's really needed. And to come into your own God self, you have to let go of all of these identifications, of all of these things that you've held, as your identity. Because only when you become completely nothing and you let go of that ego is when you will be filled in with everything. You at the same time, you will know yourself as nothing as well as know yourself as everything, and that's when you have all of the support of the universe. But at the same time, you are completely free to be filled in with divine will, with where your service is needed in the now. And it won't be in ways where we are trying to break through other people where they haven't invited us, and tell them what to do and how to live their lives. And the first thing to understand is, if you're calling yourself a Brahmin and you're telling others to be a Brahmin, use your words carefully. I mean, you have to see, do I really know what that even means myself? So if you're saying that we are all the children, sons and daughters of God, or source, as I like to call it, then you have to understand that we are all co-creators with source. We are also creators in the image and likeness of source, and we have our own free will. So every individual has their own free will. They are here, every expression of creation, every tree, every plant, every human has a different purpose. None of us are the same, and at one level we are all one. We come from that oneness. But as light moves through us and moves, expands in different ways, in its different colors, just like a white light, it becomes all of these rainbow colors. It's all of it. It's still white. It's the whole rainbow. It's that white light. However, each color has its own property. It's unique, and just like that, every human, everything, every expression of life is completely unique. It has a different purpose. It has a different property. And the age of Aquarius is about knowing your uniqueness. That's why the younger people, they are more in touch with that, and they're all about breaking these boundaries. And sometimes it can play out in more negative ways too, but the higher aspect of that, the higher potential of that, is to let go of structures that are rigid, that are no longer needed. I'm not saying let go of the ancient wisdom that we have accumulated, because that is very important and it can be really helpful. I use it myself all the time, but that doesn't mean now that I need to identify with a certain religion. And if that's your thing, you can do it. Like I said, there are many people who were sages and saints and prophets, but they were in previous ages, they were a part of a certain religion, for example. However, what they did is their own inner work, like they touched upon something real. So they might have been functioning within a particular societal structure because that is what was understood at that time. That's what people looked up to, and they came, their sole purpose was to come within that and influence the masses, influence many people, but showing them the right way, showing them the inner path, and touching people with their light in that sense, because they had touched their own light, and to show them that you can touch your own light. So there were, of course, examples of that, and so it doesn't matter, whether you follow something, don't follow something. The main thing is that have you come into yourself? And as sons and daughters of Source, of God, we have to understand that we have our own free will, and this leads me to the next point that I want to make, is that the I am presence, or the God self, I'm just going to refer it to as the I am presence, because the I am just means I am, I exist, I am life, but there's nothing attached to it. I am Hindu, I am a woman, I am Indian, there's nothing attached to it. It's just I am, and that's the highest level that we can know ourselves, and we need to give it a name, because in language that's how we communicate, but really there's no name for it as such. So we just call it the I am presence, that state of being within us where we just know ourselves as life, as I exist, as a spark of life, and that's it. And everything else, for example, I'm a woman, I'm born into a certain family, I have a certain nationality, a certain gender, a certain race in this life, and I will live my way through it. It's something that I can use, but at the same time, I don't identify with that being the only thing, with that being the main thing. There's a wholeness to me that I know of, and I just know that these are different facets that I'm moving through to fulfill my purpose in this lifetime. Because our soul, like I keep saying, has not just, I have not only been human, I have had many different lives. So strongly identifying with these other things, it keeps us in limitation, and that's the reason. And especially when religions, these days, it's like I said, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. It's about doing away with religion. To be honest, they'll be falling away, so this is why I don't resonate with it, and I don't follow it. So that's my reason. It doesn't mean I have anything against it. If you want to follow it, go ahead, but I would just say, don't go and tell other people. So now let's talk about what it really means to be in the God self, to really be a Brahman, or to really be in the I am presence, to be empowered, to be enlightened. And how do we get there? And so the first thing that I would suggest is the level of truth, because this is the level of truth, of power. And many people, when we haven't fully claimed truth and power within ourselves, we try and exert it externally in some way by controlling other people, or following, thinking of these laws that this must be, this should be, and then just trying and imposing that on others. And the thing, how do we get there? What is the pure way to really get there? Is to come into self-authority. So the level of the I am presence, the God self, all of these saints and prophets that you think of, do you think that other people, that they were just puppets for other people or for life? No, they had this full authority, this dominion over their own life. And that is, how do we allow that to happen? Is that many people these days, for example, they're in these jobs and these careers or relationships that they're not fully satisfied in, and they're afraid of making choices, the difficult choices in life, to let go of something that no longer serves you. And anybody who has touched real spirituality within themselves has had to go through the death process. And don't believe anybody who tells you otherwise. It's something that is quite challenging, otherwise everybody would be doing it. So if you really want, to embrace your spirituality, to really know yourself as the I am, to actually become a Brahman in the true sense of it, then claim that within yourself. Don't allow external life situations every day in your life, when something upsets you, or when you feel limited or you feel constricted, there are certain choices that you're making. If you're choosing to stay somewhere in a relationship, in a career, or whatever it is, or taking something from someone, abuse in small ways and big ways, that's a choice you're making. You're a creator, you're a creator God, just like Source, and you have this power. And yet, if you're choosing something, then you're creating that in the universe. So it's your responsibility to live in the purest way that is right for you. And so, if you are not fully claiming that, then there's this agitation that the human will always feel, and then we will find ways to, in the external, try and create control because of this chaos that we feel within. We feel out of control inside. So the first thing is this inner dominion, this self-authority, and it starts with the small everyday actions until it, when we choose it every day, little by little, suddenly one day it becomes something that's a permanent state within. And the way that we do that is by embracing having this complete love for ourselves. So that is the first step of coming into the I am, or coming into the God self. Then the second thing to know is that the I am presence is the level of power, but it's also the level of utter service. It's service to all of creation. If you think of any prophets, saints, this is what they were doing. They were just in service. They didn't really have any self agendas, all of these things that they wanted to fulfill. The pure desire that they had was just to serve in the moment. And this is what we need to activate if this is the level that we would like to activate in the body, is to just empty yourself of all of these identifications, of I am a woman, I am somebody's wife, I am blah blah blah. All of them might hold their place, but it's not the ultimate reality. It's not the actual truth. These are all fleeting things. You will lose this body when you die in this lifetime. You will lose the people. However, the only thing that stays forever, that is permanent, is that you exist, the I am, that you are a spark of life, and that's the only truth that there is. So we have to find ultimate security there, and know that life moves through us. When we just live in this moment, like I'm here in this park, I'm standing here, for example, now, and if I can just relax and allow life to move through me, it will express itself in the exact way that it needs to, and it'll be for the highest good of all anyway. It'll be for divine service. And so I won't need to go and control things in the external and tell other people how to be. Instead, it's a seamless process. It just flows through me, you're saying something or you're doing something, and if you're even just standing, it's just your energy, you know. Other people get to be in that pure state when you have activated it yourself. Just by being around you, they don't even know it's happening. Maybe you're not even conscious fully of what is happening, but it's just a state, a vibration that we hold. And any help that other people need, you know, they'll be drawn to us, because it's like we have lit up from within, and we are this light, you know. And so anything that is in need of light will be drawn to it. So you won't need to go out there and exert. In fact, you know, things will seamlessly come to you. It'll be a graceful existence. It won't be something that, you know, we are having to force our way through. So it's only when we let go of all of these identifications and trying to exert these identifications, whatever we've identified as, and then making it happen in the world, you know. So as an example, like I am a Hindu, and then trying to see that, you know, all Hindus do their task properly, that they are a Hindu, that they, whatever it might be, you know, it can be anything else in life. So let go of that identification, you know. It's not the most important thing in your, the most important thing is the life that you are, and that it expresses itself through you. So serving divine will is about serving the law of oneness, the law of one, and knowing that you are a humble servant, you know, to life, and serving the good of all. So allow yourself, what you can do is a daily ritual, if you would like. This would be my suggestion, if you would like to try it, is just, you know, stand in the moment and just close your eyes and connect to your own higher self, to this own, you know, complete freedom within yourself, complete dominion within yourself, authority, the level of truth, and ask, what is the highest? How can I be in service in this moment? How can I be of the greatest service, which is for the highest good of all and my own highest good? And allow this light to fill you up, you know. This will be the light of your own I am presence, your own creation spark. It'll fill you up, and in that moment, you know, you will know what to do. And sometimes it won't even be an action. It'll just be this level this thing that you feel within, and just holding that space will be enough. But we need to create time, you know, and devotion to doing this kind of inner work and emptying ourselves. Like I said, you know, the second point is that you empty yourself and ask what is needed for the now, for my highest good and the highest good of all. And you create that empty space without any identifications, any fears, thinking, oh, well, I can only do this, this and this because my wife is going to get angry if I do that, that and that. You know, that's not emptying yourself. Empty yourself of all identification, whatever you think you are. Let go of everything that you think you are every day, and just allow life to fill you in with what you are in the moment, with how life is flowing through you and expressing itself in the moment. So that's one ritual that you can do. And the other one I've already spoken about is the process of empowerment, of taking responsibility for your own actions, going within them, whatever you are feeling, getting to the root of what caused this, and then making the changes in your life. The second thing is really important too, making the change then that is needed, you know, in that moment for that essence to flourish. So I think I've said a lot of what I wanted to, but the very last thing that I want to talk about is also because this person asked me that if you're not a Hindu, then why do you keep your name? You know, because my name is Shruti Vashist, and my answer to that is that, you know, I was born into a Hindu family, even though my family is not particularly religious or anything. We never really grew up reading scriptures or, you know, going to the temple or anything like that. It was just about, the focus was just on the values of being like the best person that you can be. But as you know, on earth, you know, most people identify with a certain religion or have the names are associated with it, and so this is the family that I chose, you know. When you come, this new age is about being a part of society and changing society from within. So souls that are born, they are being born in normal circumstances, you know. It's not like always that, you know, somebody will be born into a lineage where you know, let's say that the parents have read this that they're really learned in terms of the scriptures and, you know, all of these ancient arts like yoga and everything like that, and then they just have that. No, this new age is a little bit different. Sometimes you're born into families where there was abuse, and, you know, you went through that in your life, but then you came into yourself because you went through the process of empowerment. So it's all very different. And so I chose, you know, I was born into this family, and I have this name, and I actually really like my name. The name Shruti means that which is heard, you know, it's like the word of God. To me, it really aligns with my soul purpose. So for example, you know, when something is heard, and somebody writes it down, like it's divine inspiration that comes to you, and somebody writes it down, it can be when a human writes scriptures, you know, over time it can get impure because everybody has their own translation and their own perspective. Even if they think that they're just translating something, you know, direct as is, it's colored by their own perspective. However, when we receive something from our own I am presence, from our own God self, from, you know, directly, it's completely pure. It's beyond words, you know, it's not even often words. It's just something that is felt, that is just, you know, so much greater than just words. And that to me is the meaning of Shruti. You know, it's like that which is heard, the first sound, the first precipitation, before it's written, before it becomes scripture, before it becomes law, you know, or it becomes guidance. It's felt, it fills the body. So to me, you know, that's what I do. And I really feel that people, that babies, when they're born, before they're born, you know, that there's a process that happens. Like there's a reason that parents are inspired with certain names, or certain names come to them. So because, you know, our names are spoken by so many people, so it's like the same name will be spoken to you, so it's like that vibration will be showed to you that this is what you are, this is what you are, you know. So I really like my name, and that's why I keep it. And you know, it might be different for other people. Like maybe they came into their spiritual journey and they felt that their purpose with that name was over, and then they chose it. So that's fine as well. It's all about individuality, you know, in this new age. It's all about knowing, because spirituality is an individual process, you know. Like I keep saying, the internal process is the same for everyone. Like we go through the same stages, but as you know, each individual, each facet of life is different. It's like if everybody had the same purpose and we were all doing the same thing, it wouldn't serve anything. Just like, you know, if you switch on the television and you watch the news and every channel is bringing you the exact same thing, what purpose would that serve? Whereas, like, even if they're talking about the same subject and they're bringing different aspects of it, you know, that's when it becomes valuable. So that is what we are all here supposed to do, and the only way that we know that is not through reading books and scriptures and stuff. That can help to some degree, but only if we allow things to ignite our own awareness, you know, our unique coming into discerning truth. The first thing is being able to discern truth from illusion. And knowing love, you know, within yourself, that complete acceptance, allowing complete dominion. Only when we've reached that level do we know what our purpose in the now is. And again, our purpose, you know, is different in every moment. So the moment inspires what you're supposed to do, what's for the highest good. And when it comes to identifications, I want to say that, you know, I know that, like, for example, I'm a woman, I have a certain nationality, etc. You know, I'm a certain race, and all of that serves me to some degree. But I use it. I don't let it control me. You know, those are just these small things that I've chosen in this life to fulfill my mission. You know, being a part of this society and yet doing the work through that. So I will use it to the highest ability that I can. You know, be the best. If I'm in a woman's body, being the most empowered, best woman that I can be. You know, that is always my aim. But at the same time, I don't use it, you know, as just this identification as the be and end all, and especially to the degree that it limits you, you know, where you think that this is all there is. You allow yourself from expansion. The only thing that is real is that you exist. You are a spark of life. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope I didn't make it too long, but I hope that this answered some of the questions and comments, or if that you got to know my opinions on it and why I chose the things that I did, and also the difference that I feel is between spirituality and religion, and why we need to be spiritual anyway, whether we are religious or not. So yeah, that's it from me. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and don't forget about the sale that's going on my website and my higher guidance services. Check out the link for that below, and have a really wonderful day. I'll see you again very soon.